Hi everyone, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. This is Melanie. We are getting close to 2021 and so we only have a couple more things to think about before the new year starts. And one of them is projects in progress. So most of us have started projects at some point and have gotten distracted or have lost interest, or perhaps it didn't go quite the way we wanted. And so those projects are sitting in a box, in a bin, in a bag, somewhere in our craft room. And it's time to think about whether or not we wish to continue with those projects, if we do desire to complete them, or if it's time to just let them go. And how this is going to look for you and how much effort you want to put into this is going to be entirely up to you. Now, I have another traveler's notebook that I created a couple years ago, and I have a video on this. I think I will try and link it above. And I have a few different notebooks in here that I've started. I've got scrapbooking and journaling ideas. I've got different albums with layouts already mapped out. So what I do is I go through all of my photos at the end of a year, ideally. And I take all those photos and I group them into events or topics or something like that. And from there, I create a listing of all the layouts that I want to do. Now, I haven't updated this in a bit, so I need to go and do that. That's going to be my task for this week, is to check off the layouts that have been done and add the new ones. I don't think I've done 2019 and 2020 yet. 2020 should be really quick because I didn't take very many photos. But basically, I do all of that on the computer and then I just list the layouts in here. So that's basically what this book is. And what I would encourage you to do is just do them in your current book, right? No need to start a new one. But what I would do, instead of doing a big master list like I've got in here, what I'm going to do is take the ones that I'm most excited about and the ones that I want to get done the most. So I may not be excited about them, but I just want the project done. I'm going to take those ones and transfer them into here because those are the ones I'm going to focus on in 2021. So this is kind of like my master list, and this is going to be my 2021 focus. So because I haven't updated this, I haven't done this. Now, you guys, if you start working in 2021 and you want to work on something different in here that's not on here, it's not the end of the world. This is just to give us some sort of focus for the next year. If you decide halfway through 2021 that this list is no longer exciting you and you want to pull something else from a master list, by all means go and do so. It's just meant to help you focus for the year. That's all. Okay, so we're just going to keep this simple. Write down what you want or what you're interested in doing now. And it doesn't even have to be for the full year. You may just say, for January, this is what I want to focus on. Write those in here. February, figure out what you want to focus on for February and write that in here. If you're going to do something a little bit more specific like that, then I highly recommend you having a master list, right? So do a master list in a different book or on the computer, and then only transfer the stuff that you want to focus in on each month in here. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I'm going to leave a couple pages for this. You know, it's a whole year, so why not leave plenty of room for that? If you don't like this idea, so if you are not somebody who likes to be restricted in that way and you just want to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it, that's fine. What you could use this for is to track when you do complete those projects, so at the end of the year you can see how much you accomplished. It's pretty cool to keep track of everything you've done at the end of the year and to look back and reflect on it. So make this work for you, just like everything else. You do you, right? Okay? So that's the first thing I want you to think about. However you're going to document it, list all the projects you've started. If you want to get a little bit more micro in it, list all the components that need to be done to complete that item. So for instance, I have chronological albums. So I create a list called 2012. That's my project, is my 2012 scrapbook. And within that, I list each of the layouts that I want to do for 2012, okay? You don't have to go to that level. You could just say, I want to complete 2012, or I want to complete my trip to Cuba, or I want to create all my birthday cards next year. Whatever it is that you have in progress that you want to work on, document it somewhere so that you will remember to do so. The other thing I want you to document, so leave a couple spaces, I want you to document all the projects that you have not started, but you have purchased supplies specifically for. Okay, this will be if you bought specific scrapbook paper because you wanted to do XYZ with it, or you bought yarn to make a specific sweater. So I want you to think when you're documenting this, do you still want to do that project? Does that still mean something to you? If it doesn't, and you have absolutely no interest in it at all, then you should take those designated supplies and move them where they can be used for other projects. You don't want to keep them separate, right? If you do still want to, jot it down because you will forget. And if you have it written down and you're looking for something to do, that might just be the spark that you need in order to get it done. So for your projects in progress, the ones that you've already started, you should also do this assessment, right? Do you still want to work on this project? Yes or no? Do you think you ever will want to work on this project? Yes or no? So here's an example of a project in progress that you may not want to complete. So for instance, you started an album for a friend of yours for, let's say, her 40th birthday. Since you started on the album, she is now going to be turning 50. Well, that's fine. You could now make it as a gift for her 50th, but maybe you no longer talk to this friend. Maybe something has happened and she's no longer a regular part of your life. And so it doesn't make sense for you to complete this album anymore. The intent behind it is no longer there. You're not going to gift it. So the question now becomes, what do you do with what you have and what you have left for supplies? If your intent is not to complete the project, of course, then you would take the extra supplies, move them into your stash, or purge them, right? Depending on what makes sense for your circumstances. The other thing is, for what's completed, do you want to keep them? Can they stand on their own? Does it still have meaning and significance for you, right? So if you've already started it, let's say a mini album, can you incorporate that into another album if you so desire? If it doesn't bring you happiness or joy to have those, then maybe it's time to let it go. So you need to be a little bit real with yourself about these things. The other thing you should keep in mind when you're looking at this is maybe jot down some notes. How much time do you think it will take for you to complete the project? What's preventing you from completing the project? Something that may only take 2 hours, you may all of a sudden go, you know what, I want to put that up on my list just to get it done so I don't have to look at this any further. But something that may take months to complete, you might want to say, you know what, maybe I need to break this down into smaller components so that every month I can work on some part of it, and that eventually by the end of 2021 I will have it done. Those are just a few examples. For myself, I am really wanting to focus on a trip that I completed a couple years ago. I have all the supplies pulled, everything's ready. It's taking up a big amount of space in my craft room. I need to focus and get it done. So that's a big one that I want to work on. I am also focusing on trying to get my 2010 album done. I work all over the place all the time, but I'm at the point now where that one is getting close to being finished, and I really just want to sign off on it and know that it is completed. I'd love to hear how many projects in progress you think you have and how you're going about defining them. I know I probably have, I'm trying to think, I did not finish 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. 14, 15, and 16 I did pocket page scrapbooking for them, so they're pretty much done, but I think I might have a handful of layouts in there that I want to do. And then 2018 and 2019 are not done at all. And 2020, my month in review, I need to complete. That's challenging because of the year. And yeah. And then of course throw in some cards in there because of course I like to send out birthday cards, Valentine's cards, and Christmas cards. So it's going to be a busy year. Okay, I think that's it. So your mission: identify what projects you have in progress, identify what projects you have supplies for that you haven't started, figure out what you want to work on, what's exciting you, what you just want off the list, purge anything that doesn't excite you anymore, and hopefully you will have a great list to inspire you next year. Let me know what project in progress you're excited about starting up again in 2021. Okay, thanks everyone, and until next time, happy crafting and happy organizing.